You're listening to a production of the National Media Archive. To learn more or volunteer, go to nationalmediaarchive.com.
Towering over the New Jersey Meadowlands, the Pulaski Skyway is more than just a bridge. It's a ribbon of steel weaving through nearly a century of American history. You might know it from The Sopranos or Hitchcock's Shadow of a Doubt, where it projects a brooding, even ominous presence. But let me ask you this. How many of us realize the real-life secrets, mysteries, and drama tied to this structure? Today, we're diving deep into the Pulaski Skyway's secret past, peeling back layers of engineering, marvel, urban legend, and true crime. I'm your host, Ryan Soash, and together we'll uncover why this bridge is a symbol, a landmark, and a magnet for the imagination. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a bridge, right? But as we'll see, it's so much more. From its role as a commuter lifeline to whispered rumors of mob activity, the Skyway is a character in its own right. So buckle up, let's travel back to the days before steel spanned the Hackensack River. Let me set the scene. Before cars, before concrete, there were ferries low, unpredictable, and at the mercy of the weather. The Skyway would change everything for New Jersey and for the nation. And I promise by the end, you'll never look at this bridge the same way again. Ready to cross over? Let's go. So, what exactly made the Pulaski Skyway possible? Let's dig into the obstacles that nearly kept this dream from ever becoming reality. Long before the Pulaski Skyway cut through the skyline, the Hackensack River posed a major challenge. Imagine you're a traveler in the 1800s, your options are limited. Native Lenape would paddle canoes, while European settlers depended on ferries. But ferries were slow, often delayed by ice jams or sudden floods, a phenomenon known as fluvial hazards. Have you ever had travel plans completely derailed by weather? Multiply that by 100, and you get the daily frustrations of early commuters. By the late 1800s, Newark and Jersey City were booming. Industrialization ramped up demand for a reliable crossing, but the Hackensack's unpredictable tides made bridge building seem impossible. Why not just build a bridge, you might ask? Well, early bridges struggled with the river's width and the swampy terrain of the Meadowlands, a classic case of geotechnical engineering headaches. Picture this: traffic jams stretching for blocks, cars, and horse-drawn wagons alike stuck waiting for ferries that might never come. It was clear New Jersey needed a game changer. So the stage was set for a leap forward, a monumental project that would demand innovation, courage, and, yes, plenty of drama. Next, we'll see how the invention of the automobile and the concept of the superhighway nudged New Jersey into the modern era. The early 20th century brought the automobile revolution suddenly. New Jersey's roads were crowded with cars. Gridlock at ferry terminals became the new normal. If you've ever sat in bumper-to-bumper traffic, imagine doing it with no air conditioning and the constant worry of a canceled crossing. By 1919, not only did designers start sketching a fixed roadway link, but they also envisioned something radical, a superhighway, a term that meant more than just a wide road. In engineering, a superhighway is a controlled access, high-speed route, a precursor to our modern interstates. Alongside the plans for the Holland Tunnel, the Skyway was conceived as a continuous artery, connecting New Jersey to the heart of Manhattan. The legislature authorized Route 1's extension, and suddenly, this wasn't just about a bridge, it was about reimagining how Americans moved. Now, you might wonder, was it really necessary to be so ambitious? Absolutely. The explosive growth of cities and the rise of the commuter culture meant that yesterday's solutions were obsolete almost overnight. But with ambition came enormous technical and political challenges. Let's see how those played out. Building the Pulaski Skyway was no ordinary feat. The bridge's central suspension span, an example of cantilever engineering, required nerves of steel, literally and figuratively. Enter the skywalkers, workers who dangled from dizzying heights with little more than primitive safety nets, battling the elements every day. Ever felt nervous on a ladder? Imagine building a bridge in the wind with a river raging below. Mother Nature wasn't exactly cooperative. In 1930, a massive storm toppled a derrick, essentially a giant construction crane, into the river. Miraculously, no one was killed. But this wasn't the only setback. Funding shortfalls and political infighting, think legislative gridlock, almost killed the project altogether. The Great Depression hit mid-construction, and suddenly every dollar counted. Critics called for the project to be scrapped, and rumors of corruption swirled in the press. Can you imagine working every day not knowing if your paycheck or your job would last another week? But here's the twist in our drama. Immigrant workers Mini, with few other prospects, found purpose and pride under the leadership of Chief Engineer Othmar Ammann. His expertise in structural dynamics and his ability to inspire hope kept the dream alive. Against all odds, the pieces began to fit together. Next up, the Skyway's triumphant completion and the dawn of a new era for New Jersey. After years of setbacks and suspense, 1932 marked a monumental moment. The central span was connected, and the Pulaski Skyway was finally whole. The opening was more than a ribbon cutting, it was a statement of resilience and American ingenuity. Dignitaries gave speeches, crowds cheered, and for the first time, cars streamed across nearly 4 miles of gleaming concrete and steel. The public was cautiously optimistic. At first, some worried about the bridge's steep ramps and futuristic profile, a product of streamlined design philosophy. But convenience quickly won out soon. The Skyway was bustling with commuters and sightseers. Interestingly, the bridge had no official name at first. Locals called it the Diagonal Highway or the High-Level Viaduct, but in 1933, it was officially dedicated as the General Casimir Pulaski Memorial Skyway, honoring the Polish hero of the American Revolution. A fitting tribute, don't you think? But with progress came new, unintended consequences. The Skyway was a marvel, but it was also a magnet for trouble. Let's take a closer look at the safety issues that haunted its early years. Have you ever thought about how innovation sometimes creates new problems? That's exactly what happened here. From day one, the Pulaski Skyway was both a lifeline and a hazard. With no median, drivers passed slower vehicles in what became known as the suicide lane, a center lane meant for emergencies, but quickly co-opted for risky passing maneuvers. In traffic engineering, this is called a reversible lane, but without proper signals, it was chaos. Imagine driving at highway speeds, only to have another car barreling toward you in the same narrow lane. Limited visibility and unpredictable moves turned every commute into a gamble. Add to that the bridge's steep ramps and concrete surface, which became slick in rain or snow, a nightmare scenario for traction and control. Now, maybe you're thinking, why didn't they just redesign it? Well, design standards in the 1930s were evolving, and retrofitting a massive structure wasn't easy or cheap. To make matters worse, a surge in accidents forced city officials into action. Next, let's see how Jersey City's mayor took a bold, controversial step to save lives and how that decision is still debated today. Progress isn't always smooth. Sometimes it comes with sharp curves and hard lessons. By late 1933, the accident rate was alarming. Frank Hague, Jersey City's powerful mayor, made a tough call. He banned trucks from the Skyway, citing the bridge's narrow lanes and risky design. In urban planning, this is known as access control, a way to manage who uses critical infrastructure. Trucker outrage was immediate. Picture being a driver in 1934 suddenly detoured miles out of your way. But for everyday commuters, the ban brought relief and likely saved lives. Police enforced the rule strictly, and eventually, the State Highway Commission followed suit. Now, you might wonder, did this solve all the problems? Not quite. While crashes dropped, the Skyway's reputation as a dangerous, even cursed, crossing only grew, fueling rumors and urban legends. Was it just the risks of early engineering? Or was there something more sinister lurking beneath the surface? Let me tell you, a bridge with a reputation for danger inevitably attracts whispers of crime. And that brings us to the Skyway's most infamous association, the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. Curious? Let's unravel how organized crime and a missing union boss turned this bridge into a legend. In the 1970s, the Pulaski Skyway shadow lengthened literally and figuratively. It became known not just as an engineering marvel, but as a suspected dumping ground for the mob. The most persistent theory involves Jimmy Hoffa, the legendary Teamsters boss whose 1975 disappearance remains one of America's greatest mysteries. Let's break it down. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters, a powerful labor union, was a powerhouse for workers, but also a magnet for corruption. Hoffa, the union's president, clashed with mafia figures like Anthony Provenzano, who had deep ties to both labor and organized crime, a classic example of syndicate infiltration. Did Hoffa really plan a comeback, you might ask? Yes, after prison, he tried to reclaim union leadership, but met fierce resistance from former allies turned enemies. Threats escalated. According to reports, Provenzano allegedly threatened Hoffa's family, and other mobsters, like Tony Giacolone, became key players in the drama. On July 30, 1975, Hoffa vanished after a supposed peace meeting. His car was found, but he was Ganeno struggle. No clear answers. For years, the Skyway and surrounding meadowlands have been at the heart of theories about his fate. But legends need evidence. Let's see what the FBI and modern forensics have uncovered about Hoffa's disappearance and the Skyway's role. Investigators faced a daunting challenge. The only hard evidence? Hoffa's scent detected by police dogs in a car linked to the MOBA classic example of forensic detection, where olfactory evidence can place a missing person at a scene. Despite massive effort surveillance, informants, even wiretaps, no body was ever found. Over time, rumors grew. Had Hoffa been buried under the Skyway, entombed in concrete, or dumped in a landfill? In criminal investigations, this is known as a body dump hypothesis, often fueled by lack of closure. Years passed. Then, a deathbed confession from a landfill worker reignited the search. In 2021, the FBI conducted a site survey beneath the Skyway, deploying ground-penetrating radar and excavation teams. The stakes couldn't be higher. Would they finally solve the mystery? But after months of digging, the official announcement came. Nothing of evidentiary value was found. The Skyway keeps its secrets at least for now. So, what does this mean for the Skyway's reputation? Let's reflect on how myth and reality blur when history, crime, and engineering collide. Today, the Pulaski Skyway is still a vital artery for New Jersey commuters. Yet, its legacy is more than just steel and concrete teats, a tapestry of ambition, adversity, and urban legend. From its Art Deco towers to its infamous reputation, the Skyway is a case study in how infrastructure can shape and be shaped by the stories we tell. Think about it. How many structures become both a symbol of progress and a magnet for conspiracy? The Skyway sits at that intersection, its creepy image now cemented in pop culture, its real-life mysteries still unresolved. Now, you might ask, does the past still haunt the present? In a way, yes. Every commuter who crosses the Skyway is literally and figuratively traveling through layers of history, engineering, innovation, unsolved crime, and the ever-present pulse of American urban life. Let me leave you with this. Sometimes, a bridge is just a way from point A to B, but sometimes, it's a mirror reflecting our hopes, our fears, and our fascination with the unknown. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your mind curious. I'm Ryan Soash, and this was The Secret Past of the Pulaski Skyway.